Hey, it's Kira here, and today I want to show you a small test project that I just finished. It's a Nintendo Ds Lite motherboard and a bottom LCD inside of a Gameboy Advance shell. I saw people refurbishing their old Ds Lites with broken screens or top hinges and making them into nice little Gameboy Advance portables. I want to see if I could get a Ds Lite board inside of a Gameboy Advance shell. Getting a Ds Lite motherboard with only the bottom screen can be done by removing the top screen and adding a 330 ohm resistor between 2 points on the motherboard. Then the Ds Lite will work without a top screen attached. It took me about 2 weeks to make. Most time was spent on getting the board trimmed down and puzzling how to fit everything inside. I think I could make one in a day now. I had to remove some components sticking out of the motherboard and trim down the motherboard and Wi-Fi board so it can all fit inside. I also relocated the slot to Gameboy Advance port so you can insert cartridges just like the real deal. The Ds Lite can play all the Gameboy Advance titles without emulation. The screen quality is very similar to the Gameboy Advance SP101 model. Unfortunately, the Ds Lite doesn't have the backwards compatible Z80 CPU needed to support Game Boy and Game Boy Color cartridges. Okay, let's look around the system. On the front we have the original D-pad, start and select buttons, A and B buttons. I replaced the original speaker with a slightly bigger one, and I also wired up the Ds Lite's LEDs where the original Game Boy Advance LED was. It's green when it's on, and red when the battery is almost dead, and orange when it's charging. On the bottom you will find the on-off switch and the headphone jack and the original Ds Lite volume slider. And on top you'll find the L and R buttons and the charging port. I replaced the original Ds Lite's port for the more common micro USB one. Below the charging port there's a micro SD slot. This is for storage for the built-in flash card slot in slot 1. On the left side we got a little switch. This is for you to enable or disable the slot 1 flash card. And this bigger switch is to swap A and B with X and Y buttons. On the back you will find a cartridge slot for the Game Boy Advance cartridges and a sealed battery compartment. There's original Ds Lite battery inside the system to power everything. The slot 1 flash card that's inside the unit is the famous DS2 model. This flash card has its own CPU and 32 megabytes of memory. The CPU of the flash card is a Ingenic GZ4732 360 MHz processor. This will enable you to play Game Boy, Game Boy Color, PC Engine, NES and Game Gear and Master System games perfectly fine. It can also play Super Nintendo and Game Boy Advance games, but they're not at full speed. But with only 2 face buttons, it's just fine to go with the Game Boy and NES games. Building this is pretty cheap. I found a Ds Lite with a broken top screen for €5, and you can buy a shell of AliExpress for another €5. You'll need some switches and some rubber tech buttons. I could make a video on how to build one. Let me know if you care. Let's test the system. Alright, at first we're gonna turn the system on without the slot 1 flash card enabled. Then you get the Ds Lite booting screen. You can control it with the D-pad, there's no touchscreen. You can change the brightness settings and you can change settings like the date and the time. Also you can tell where the Game Boy Advance games must be displayed. You must set it to the touchscreen, because if the top screen is selected you won't see any games. Shut down. Okay, let's try a game. Well, fits.
Let's go! Choose a Super Mario 2! Choose a player.
Let's go with Mario.
Here I come.
Whoa. Playing through the viewfinder is difficult. Okay, let's try that again. Almost. Here we go. Okay. There's something else. Okay. Inserting a Game Boy game will result in the game not running. We just go back to the screen. Okay. Now I'm gonna select the flash card by putting the switch and turning it on. This is the flash card. You can start games from the cartridge, or you can select a DS game or any emulator. Let's try an NES game. Right hour. And I must press a button. Which one was it? Ah, there it is. Okay. Let's try something else. How about Bionic Commando? forgot which button it was. What do I select? Game screen button. Yay. Yeah, play. Okay, I found some Pro Action Replay code on the internet which changes the code of Mario Kart so you can play on the bottom screen. This is a DS Lite game. Well, let's go with 100. Fine. Just want to show you that you can play DS Lite modded Mario Kart on the bottom screen. That's that. And one of the DS Lite games you can also play. Brightness higher. Tetris. Okay, thanks for watching. See you later.